Welcome to episode 822 of Salsido Paranormal. I'm your host, James Salsido, and tonight I'm sharing experiences, true paranormal stories from the web. As always, you can find all episodes of the show along with links to social media, ways to listen, and ways to support the show at the website, which is salsidoparanormal.com. That's SALSIDO paranormal.com. And you can support the show in a couple different ways. You can always sign up for the Patreon uh, feed, which is all kinds of extra content there. Then just real quick on that, that includes several of these experiences shows that I recorded a while ago that did not go to the main feed, uh, as well as several other shows and a book reading series I'm doing where I read the rough draft of one of my novels in 2 or 3 chapters at a time, once each week usually. So, and that is all. You can always listen to all the recordings of the Patreon episodes live when it happens. But then to access them after that, that's when you have to sign up for the Patreon, and you can do that for as little as $1 a month. I don't like um I don't like asking or having anyone think that I expect any support from anyone for the show. But I've been told before that I need to make it possible for people to support the show if they would like to do so. So that's why I have these things set up. And special thanks again also to Sweets for posting the links there in the chat and even making some of the designs for the merchandise and the merchandise store. So anyway, but yeah, so support is never expected, but always appreciated, as there are expenses in making these shows. Also, please check out the links to the friends of the show. That would be Jen, the Arcane Observer, who has her own channel and is also the co-host of this show on the weekends usually, as well as Michael Strange of Trouble Minds Radio and the Trouble Minds Radio Network, KUAP Digital Broadcasting, where you can hear all kinds of amazing shows along with my own 24/7 and all online. And all you have to do is press play once you get to the website. That would be troubleminds.org. There's a button at the top, and you can listen to that to basically paranormal and related topics, that kind of radio 24/7. So I think that takes care of everything. Again, thank you all for being here and listening in. And yeah, so we can get to the stories now. And yeah, and also yeah, thank you, Jen. I saw Jen. I was thinking Jen. Thank you, Sweets, for sharing the links for Jen's Linktree and Michael Strange as well. Uh, so yeah, let's get to the stories here and go from there. So this one says, so I am visiting my grandparents in Florida, and for a very long time, I have been going out to the swing set at their house at night just to relax and enjoy the night air, and I usually listen to music. They are cow ranchers, so uh, beyond the swing set, by their fence, about 40 or 50 feet from their house, there is a big field, and then some woods and swamps. When I was younger, I was really into paranormal stuff, so I used to get really spooked imagining something behind me or watching from the woods. But now that I'm older, I very seldom get that feeling. Tonight I was feeling it a little, but I tried my best to just brush it off while I waited for my eyes to adjust to the dark and listened to my music as usual. But then as soon as I started to feel all right, something really weird happened. I don't exactly know how to explain it. I saw a dark, black figure rush past me and disappear, and I felt it. Basically, it felt like uh, when someone brushes past you in a crowd, but less solid. But I felt the warmth of it, and the air rushed past me. There was a bit of lightning out, so my first thought was that it was a trick of the light. But I wouldn't have felt that. A breeze wouldn't have looked like a dark figure, and it wouldn't be only in that one specific spot. I always faced the house, so there was no lightning behind me, and other than what I had already seen. It couldn't have been a bird or an animal because it disappeared. Plus, a bird wouldn't get in, get through the swing ropes like that. In the past, I have had very mild hallucinations when anxious, but they don't ever feel real or manifest physically. Just little things moving in my peripheral is all. Never enough to elicit a reaction. Whatever that was, I felt it, and it scared me and made me jump. I'm not completely opposed to the idea that it could have been a hallucination, but it just felt so real, and I usually don't hallucinate at all unless I am extremely upset. And that's where that one ends. And just based on the feeling of that, to me, that makes me think it was some kind of a real experience that this person had. But yeah, I don't know what happened there. Just sounds like someone was passing through, and for whatever reason, they were they happened to be physical for a moment, and but just a shadow. I do wonder with all these cases, is it just other consciousness, other beings passing through areas, and they don't mean to interact with us at all, and it just happens. I do think that's the thing that happens sometimes. Also, I wonder how much of the feelings that they got when they were a kid, how much of that was imagination, but how much of that was also maybe them picking up on something or some things out there in nature and not realizing it. Excuse me. Excuse me. Um, but yeah, so I don't know. And it sounds like they did their best to rule everything out as far as logical explanations. Uh, and yeah, sounds like they saw and felt a shadow figure. I do think it's amazing as well that they said it felt warm. I've heard of the breeze or the wind or the rush of air going by people before when shadows or apparitions show up and pass. But I don't think I've ever heard of heat on any level coming from a moving shadow figure like that. And this is why I think it's really important to do these kinds of shows, to find these accounts and share them. Because every once in a while you find one that it doesn't fit the pattern of everything else that I've researched before, I've heard about, read about before. It's like a while ago there was a show I did where someone saw a shadow figure and they heard the sound of like fabrics, something like almost like clothes or fabrics moving and possibly whipping around in wind or tearing or something. And it was all in and around this shadow figure that this person saw. So I really wonder, how does that work? Are there can different shadow figures, because we still don't know what they all are, and I do wonder if there are different things that appear in similar or same ways. Can they are these sounds or temperature changes, are they indications of what type of being it is? Are they not? Are they random? Uh, how many more questions can I ask? Anyway, it seems like I always laugh at that when I think about these shows and these stories because that's most of what I do is just ask questions. So, but yeah, I think that's an amazing one, and I can understand that why the writer was scared there when it happened. Hopefully, it never happens again, and it's still a peaceful spot for them to go and relax because everyone needs that, I think. So, let me see. Looking at the chat here. Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here as well. I see you all there and listening in, and I appreciate that. And yeah, let's move on to the next one here and go from there. So this one, yeah, scroll down a bit. This one says, I live in, excuse me, excuse me, I live in Utah. We have lived in this area for over 20 years, and we are very familiar with it. We live about a mile away from a mountain called the Magic Mesa. I just recently learned it was called Magic Mesa from a TV show. A few months back, at around 10 p.m. at night, my boys and I were driving on a back mountain road and pulled off to the side in a common area. Excuse me. The road is a few miles directly southwest from the Magic Mesa. When we got out of the truck, we noticed lights from what looked like a small city below the mountainside and a massive red and white neon sign that appeared to be as big as the casino signs you see in Las Vegas. At first, we could not figure out what the lights belonged to and what the neon sign was because it is just empty desert below the mountain. For a moment, I could not figure out what I was looking at. And then I remembered a gas station that was somewhere below the mountain, which has a very large soccer field next to it. So I immediately wrote it off as being lights from the gas station. We drove away, and my boys began to argue with me about that it could not be the lights from the gas station because there isn't a large red and white neon sign at the gas station, and the gas station is several miles in the opposite direction. I continued to shrug it off as the lights to the gas station. And after arguing with my boys about the lights for several days, I drove back up to the same location to take pictures of the lights to prove it to them, and the lights were gone. What looked like a small city with neon signs was completely gone. We have driven back to the same location a dozen times during the day and at night, and the lights are gone, and there are no buildings or anything else that would have produced all the lights we saw. Anyone else have any experiences like this or suggestions as to what we saw? And that's where that one ends. I think that one is amazing because either you have, I'm guessing, maybe some kind of corporate or military presence that was there and then just tore everything down. In that case, you have to wonder why, what was going on there. And yeah, that's just a really, really wild experience there. Um, I find it weird too that they were able to see the lights from a neon sign, but they couldn't read what it was. Was it that big? Or and it was just that far away where they still couldn't see the sign? Uh, Again, I'm terrible with distances and figuring that kind of thing out because I'm legally blind. But I just wonder, was it a neon sign or was it something that just resembled a neon sign? And just all these things there, I don't know. All these lights and buildings. That's the other amazing thing. It's not even just like there was lights that could be written off as orbs or whatever, possibly, or craft or lights from craft. I do wonder with the buildings if it was an odd enough shape for a craft. Could that have been it? There's no way to know. And the fact that there was nothing there after, I also wonder. I'm guessing if if that family ever went by there before and never saw anything, then that would also be amazing because then when did that whatever that was show up? There's also, as I always like to point out, and some people may think this is too far out there, but the possibility of looking into other times or other versions of this world, other alternate parallel universes, to where somewhere in some other dimension or universe or whatever you want to call it, some other place, there was a city down there. And somehow it just appeared to the people there, or the people were able to sense it or see it just this one time somehow, due to all kinds of variables in time and space and energy and who knows what else. But then it normally was not there. It was not something that does exist in this world as we know it. So just so many questions there that come up with that one because was it a city? Was it a giant craft? Was it a collection of craft? Was it, I don't know, was it a time anomaly, space anomaly? There's no real good answer to me anyway as to what that was. So I thought that was really an amazing one there. But so let's get to at least one more here before we stop. And maybe two more, we'll see. This one says, I am a 24-year-old female. I pass by the same stretch of road almost every night. For about 5 years, off and on, I kept feeling like someone was in the back seat of my car as I drove at night, always between 9 p.m. and 12 a.m. Without me knowing, my mother was also experiencing this as well as my best friend. We only figured this out recently, and my mother and I started talking about this only to find out that we often have the same image in our mind of what this woman looks like. She is wearing late 1800, early 1900s clothing. She has a high collar button up shirt and a long plaid skirt. Her face is pointy with sunken eyes and aged features, but not older than 70. A few months ago, I was driving home from my friend's house and got the feeling that the woman was in my car. It was extra heavy, like she was inches from my face. And when I passed by a house that had an outside light on, I could see the outline of someone sitting in my passenger seat. It was like a gray fog or mist. and then an almost clear face, and she looked exactly like how my mother and I described her. So spot because I do believe in ghosts, but I also believe in seeing faces and things that might not be faces. I made sure every night that I felt her to look and see if it just had just been the light from the house. But there was nothing over there. I haven't felt her in a while, and I can't find anything about a death or records that are available from the time period to see if I'm actually seeing someone that once lived in the area. So right now, it's just me driving by and hoping she doesn't jump scare me again. And that's the end of that one. Those kinds of accounts where multiple people are having experiences and not realizing it until afterward, and they're all describing similar things to me, are really amazing. It's really, I don't know. I wonder about that. The with the Was it someone from the past that was just curious about people passing by, drawn to them? I don't know. Um, that's not the first time I've heard accounts or read accounts of people having experiences with where at some point on a road they feel like there's someone else in the vehicle with them that somehow was just all of a sudden there. They never stopped the vehicle, no doors ever opened. It would just happen and then it would be gone. So it really is amazing with that one. Um, what the experience that multiple people had in that same area, but then later on did not have, and the writer even tried to uh, sort of debunk their own experience. So, um, we have time to read one more story. I may not comment on it, but I'll leave it for you all to think about. This one says, I don't know what has been going on inside my house. I bought it in about July of 2010 by myself. The house was built in 1950 and has no recorded deaths. I never really felt like there was anyone or anything living inside my house with me. The most likely thing was squatters, which is my biggest fear. As a guy that goes to the gym quite often, I have always been pretty good at keeping it cool when someone breaks into my house. It happened once in 2014, but they left the moment they heard someone else inside. Recently, however, I heard the hallway door open. I got up really fast and looked around the house to see if anyone was there, but nothing. I was curious. This one's going to get a little over. I was curious because I would have heard the front door open if someone had gotten in the house. That's why I started thinking about squatters. Something similar happened today, after basically the same thing happened. On the third night, though, it was different. The same thing happened. The hallway door was open. I walked into the hallway and shut the door. What you should know is that there is a mirror on the side of the hallway where the door of my bedroom is. And when I turned around, I saw a shadow of something pass by really fast from one side to another beneath the door. I always leave the light on in my living room in case I need to go get a snack or something. I wanted to look, but something told me to just go back to bed and try to sleep. And that's all the time we have for this episode. Thank you all for listening, and I will talk to you all next time on Salsido Paranormal. Take care.